My wife changed after joining a local women's group. At first, it seemed harmless, just book clubs and lectures. I ignored the subtle shifts: her disdain for boys, her obsessive ideology. When she told me her body couldn't bring another man into the world, I laughed nervously. I tried to support her, encourage therapy, but the baby monitor exposed her rage. Now, Anna Carter is in prison for attempted kidnapping. Before everything unraveled, Anna and I painted the nursery pale yellow. We laughed over name ideas, argued playfully about stroller brands. She whispered, "Let's raise someone better than this world," and I believed her. But she flinched every time someone said he. I blamed stress. When she skipped a prenatal class, I excused it. We hung an elephant mobile together. I didn't realize that smile was already masking something darker. Anna started journaling obsessively. She claimed it was for bonding with the baby, but her words were dark. "Boys destroy, girls heal," she wrote once. I brushed it off. She avoided baby stores, snapped when I suggested names like Leo or Noah. Her parents noticed. Clara asked if everything was okay. I said yes. I was scared to name the feeling, but the notebook on her nightstand chilled me. One night, I found Anna staring at Leo's crib, unmoving. Her lips moved in whispers I couldn't hear. When I touched her shoulder, she jerked back, eyes wild. "He doesn't belong," she hissed. I called Dr. McNicholas the next morning. Clara offered to stay, sensing something wrong. Anna baked cookies like nothing happened. I wondered if I was imagining things or if I was already too late. I checked the baby monitor recordings. Anna wasn't just restless, she was hovering over Leo, whispering things I couldn't catch. I brought the footage to Sarah, our support group leader. She looked horrified, but warned me gently, "Be careful, she's protected by that group." I began documenting everything. Anna found my notes and tore them up. That night she locked our bedroom door. I slept on the couch, heart pounding. Anna stopped calling Leo by his name. She referred to him as the child or it. At the park, she pulled him from the sandbox and muttered, "Too many boys here." I froze. Clara saw it too. I asked Anna to see a different therapist. She refused. That night, Leo cried nonstop. I held him until sunrise. I wondered if love was enough to keep us safe anymore. Sarah warned me Anna had reported me to the group for emotional manipulation. My heart dropped. They sent emails, claiming I was abusive, trying to separate mother from child. Our family therapist noticed the smear campaign, called it coordinated. Anna smiled sweetly during sessions. I started sleeping with Leo's crib beside me. I checked locks twice. I wondered, was the system protecting her instead of our son? Dr. McNicholas submitted a report. It detailed Anna's delusions, the footage, her journal entries. I thought that would be the turning point. Instead, Anna stormed out of therapy and filed a restraining order against me. She claimed I was dangerous, unfit. The police showed up at my door. I held Leo in my arms as they questioned me. I realized I was in a war I didn't start. At the emergency custody hearing, Anna wore white and wept on cue. Her attorney painted me as a jealous, unstable man. I handed the judge a flash drive, the baby monitor footage. Silence filled the room. Then Sarah stood, voice trembling, and confirmed the footage's authenticity. Anna glared at her. The judge ordered an evaluation. That moment, her carefully built persona cracked. I saw her fury flash, unfiltered and chilling. Anna's therapist testified next. She described Anna's rejection of male infants, her refusal to bond with Leo, her increasing paranoia. Clara sobbed quietly in the back row. I couldn't look at Anna. She stared straight ahead. Unmoved, the judge ruled for temporary sole custody to me. Supervised visits for Anna. I felt relief, but not victory. We weren't safe yet. The system still treated her as a grieving mother. 2 days after the ruling, Anna followed me home from daycare pickup. She didn't speak, just stood across the street, watching. I called the police. They issued a warning. That night, I installed cameras around the house. Sarah brought groceries and stayed until Leo fell asleep. "She's not done," she whispered. I nodded. The locks weren't enough anymore. This wasn't just a legal battle, it was survival. During her supervised visit, Anna tried to whisper to Leo, but the facilitator interrupted. Anna exploded, screamed that Leo was a cursed soul, that the court was part of a patriarchal lie. The facilitator reported everything. I played the footage for Clara and Raymond. They cried. "We'll help," Clara said. That night, I finally felt the weight shift. Her parents, once unsure, now stood firmly by Leo's side, and mine. Anna vanished for a week. No visits, no contact. Then she appeared on a podcast. Accusing me of abuse, she held up a doll, claimed it was Leo, sobbed for the camera. My inbox exploded with threats. The court tightened restrictions, but the damage spread online. Sarah countered with truth. She uploaded footage, shared her story slowly. The tide shifted, but Anna had one more move and we didn't see it coming. The night before Leo's birthday, Anna broke into the house. The camera caught her climbing through the back window. She headed straight for Leo's room. The alarm triggered. I rushed in. She froze, clutching Leo's blanket. The police arrived in minutes. She screamed that he was hers, that I'd corrupted him. They took her away. Leo slept through it all. I stood guard by his crib until sunrise, shaken but resolute. I thought it was over, but Anna had mailed packages days before her arrest. One arrived at Leo's daycare. Inside was a and a letter titled "Truth." The staff alerted me. The video was a warped montage, clips of me yelling, Leo crying, and Anna narrating about male violence. But Sarah recognized the editing. She spliced group footage. She said, "I contacted the police. Anna's manipulation ran deeper than we thought." That footage went viral before the police could respond. Advocacy groups picked it up. I became the face of their backlash. My workplace got bomb threats. Leo's daycare faced protests. Clara and Raymond offered to move in. I declined. "We stay visible," I told them. Sarah organized a live street, full context, testimonies, court footage. It helped, but the damage lingered. Anna's voice, though jailed, still echoed in dark corners of the internet. A former group member contacted Sarah anonymously. She had proof Anna faked abuse photos. She'd helped stage the bruises with makeup and lighting. The woman felt guilty now, fearing Leo's safety. With her testimony and timestamps from Anna's phone, we filed a supplemental case. It was the crack we needed. Anna's manipulation became undeniable. I stared at the evidence, feeling both rage and relief. This was the leverage to end it. At the review hearing, our lawyer presented the staged photo files and the anonymous witness statement. Anna sat silent, eyes narrowed. The judge's demeanor shifted. "This is fraud," he said. The courtroom rippled with tension. Her attorney requested recess denied. Anna finally spoke. "The world hates women like me." The judge replied, "No, we hate lies that hurt children." Leo's custody was ruled permanent, but I didn't cheer, I just exhaled. The fallout reached Anna's support group. Leaders stepped down, forums were deleted. Some women messaged me apologies, denials, confusion. One asked if Leo was okay. "He's smiling," I wrote. But paranoia lingered. At the park, I scanned faces. At bedtime, I checked windows twice. The truth had won, but scars remained. Clara insisted we take a trip, somewhere quiet. I said yes. Leo deserved a life where laughter didn't mean looking over his shoulder. The morning we left town, a letter arrived from Anna. "You won," it read, "but the war never ends." I ripped it in half. Sarah told me to report it. I did. The system added a no-contact order. Still, the words echoed. On the road, Leo sang along to his favorite cartoon. His joy cut through the fear. I reached back to hold his tiny hand. That moment, I decided Anna was past. Months later, Leo's first words formed a sentence: "Daddy safe." I nearly dropped the spoon. We were eating cereal. Sun filling the kitchen. I hugged him. "Too tight maybe," he giggled. The past hadn't claimed him. Dr. McNicholas called it resilience. I called it a miracle. Sarah printed those words, "Daddy safe," on a card. I pinned it above his crib. It wasn't just his milestone. It was our victory anthem. Quiet but permanent. Despite everything, media still painted Anna as complex. Documentaries hinted at postpartum psychosis, ideological victimhood. I refused interviews. Clara didn't. She told them, "She almost killed our grandson." Raymond added, "And destroyed our son." That clip went viral. Public opinion shifted again quietly. The story wasn't rewritten but corrected. Leo grew, so did I. The world wouldn't forget Anna, but it would remember who protected the child she tried to erase. I found Anna's final journal hidden in the attic, stuffed in an old diaper bag. It wasn't rage-filled, it was confused, scattered thoughts, lines crossed out. One entry read, "Maybe he's not evil, maybe I am." I burned it. Sarah said, "Closure isn't always gentle." Leo painted a picture that day: 3 stick figures and a sun, us, he said. No shadows, no dark corners. I knew then our family had rebuilt itself. Leo started school. On the first day he clutched my hand, then let go to run toward the playground. Freedom in motion. Sarah cried quietly beside me. "You did it," she whispered. I didn't reply. I watched my son chase a red ball, hair flying, laughter unburdened. No one asked about his mother. No cameras followed, no protests, just life. We had won, not loudly, not quickly but wholly. And that was enough. Weeks later, Leo handed me a crumpled drawing. Family Day. It read: "A stick figures again, but this time with names: Daddy, Grandma, Clara, Grandpa Ray, Miss Sarah. No Anna." My heart ached, but I smiled. "We'll frame it," I said. Leo beamed. Sarah suggested a small family gathering. We grilled burgers, painted rocks, chased bubbles. No speeches, just presents. That night, Leo whispered, "Best day ever," and I believed him. We were whole. A package arrived, this time from a children's nonprofit. They'd seen Sarah's live street. "Read about Leo's case. We want to feature your journey in our trauma-informed parenting guide." The letter said. I hesitated. Sarah encouraged me. "Your story might help another dad," she said. I agreed. Weeks later, I read our chapter aloud to Leo. He didn't understand it all, but when I said, "And the father never gave up," he clapped. At a bookstore event, a young father approached me, eyes tired, hands shaking. "My wife's not well," he whispered. I listened. No advice, just presence. Afterward, he hugged me. "You gave me courage," he said. I left with Leo's hand in mine, the weight of legacy sinking in. Sarah smiled. "Ripples," she said. The fight had marked us, but it also created something: hope for others navigating the same stormy waters we survived. Leo's laughter echoed as we built a pillow fort. Inside, flashlight in hand, he asked, "Did monsters ever scare you, Daddy?" I paused, then said yes, but I found people who helped chase them away. He nodded solemnly. "Like Miss Sarah?" "Exactly." That night, he slept in the fort. I watched from the doorway, heartful. The monsters hadn't vanished, they'd been named, challenged, and overcome. That fort wasn't fabric, it was safety stitched in memory. One evening, Clara handed me a worn photo Anna as a child, holding a stuffed elephant. "She wasn't always this," she whispered. I nodded. "But Leo won't be that." We burned the photo together, not to erase her, but to end the cycle. Leo watched the flames, then hugged me. "Love you, Daddy, always," I replied. That night, I knew forgiveness wasn't about her. It was about protecting what we'd built, what would last. I stood outside Leo's school, watching him run toward me. His joy was effortless now. The past didn't cling like it used to. The elephant mobile hung above his bed, again restored. Clara smiled more. Sarah laughed louder. I felt grounded. The fear had faded. This wasn't just healing, it was a new beginning we chose together. In quiet moments, I reread Sarah's journal entry, the one she wrote for Leo: "You were always worth fighting for." I kept it taped inside my desk drawer. Some days, I still checked the locks, but most days, I didn't. I started writing again. Not about pain but about peace, growth, and the little boy who saved me too. Anna's rights were terminated. No appeals, no fanfare, just a final stamp from the court. I didn't celebrate, I just held Leo a little tighter that night. Clara wept quietly. Sarah brought cake. "For the future," she said. The battle ended not with vengeance, but with certainty. Our family, fragile once, now stood strong. We planted a tree in the backyard. Leo chose it. "It grows strong like us," he said. Every weekend, we watered it together. Clara called it the healing tree. Sarah painted a sign. No one spoke Anna's name anymore. The past had its place, but it didn't define us. The roots were ours now, deep, unshaken.